Nobody goes to the gym looking for slow results. Nobody has ever said, I feel like I'm gaining too much muscle too fast. We're all looking for ways to grow muscle fast, and there's many different approaches and theories on how to do just that. But regardless of what training split you might have or training techniques you might be using, today our expert trainer, Tyrone is going to show one powerful way to ensure your muscle is going to grow, and something you can apply to whatever routine you are currently following.
Right, so today I'm going to show you how to turn your muscle on. What am I talking about? I'm talking about how to engage, activate, and prime your target muscle group before you even start training it. Why? So it's biased and favored to receive the biggest amount of growth stimulation from what you're about to inflict on it from your actual training session. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is just going into the gym, packing on some weight, and performing your exercises by moving the weight from point A to point B, and thinking that the targeted muscle group is going to receive the required stimulus for a growth response. Here's the thing to understand. Your body wants to move a weight as effectively as possible, which often means trying to distribute the loads you're lifting through multiple muscle groups to make the lift easier. Now, this is great if you're a powerlifter, CrossFitter, or a strongman, where all that matters is moving as much tin as possible. But when it comes to specifically targeting a muscle group to respond with as much growth as possible, we want to isolate the load in the targeted muscle group as much as possible, even during those compound lifts. And one way to help achieve this is by activating the muscle, turning it on, before you even start training it.
As there are a ton of different muscle groups, too many to take you through and demonstrate an activation drill for each in a sub 10-minute video, we've put out our Q&A on Ty's Instagram prior to shooting this video, asking which muscle groups you guys were struggling to grow the most, so we could then take you through the top 3 most voted muscle groups. And you guys voted chest, lats, hamstrings. So here we go.
To activate any muscle group and prime it ready to lift, you need to place that muscle group into its shortened range of contraction under a level of tension. In the shortened contraction position, that's where the neurotransmitter contraction signal from your brain to the targeted muscle is at its greatest. Meaning, spending time in a muscle shortened position is going to strengthen the mind-muscle connection over other potential assisting muscle groups when you start performing compound exercises within your coming workout. So for chest, the shortened position is when your humerus is pulled over your midline of your body, right? You can't get your pec to contract any shorter than this position here. So to activate prior to performing your chest workout, set yourself up tying off a resistance band about shoulder height.
Okay, why are we using resistance bands?
I like to use resistance bands for activations because as the band stretches, it increases in tension. So it's going to be easier and far less workload on your muscle until it reaches its shortened contraction point. In the shortened position is where the most tension is present through the band, in turn, demanding the most work from the muscle at that particular point. Which, when you're wanting to activate and strengthen your mind-muscle connection, tension in the muscle's shortened position is exactly what we want to generate. So, pulling your straight arm across the midline of your body and holding it for a count of 1 to 2 beats in that shortened position, that's what we're after. Now, you need to be sure too that the band in the end position is no less than an approximate 80-degree angle. If the angle is less, that band is going to be too close to the arm and the direction of the tension is going to be shared through your front delt as well. Not what we want. Position your body correctly to achieve that end band optimal position on each and every rep.
Okay, so speaking of repetitions, and for that matter, intensity as well, how many reps do you want to perform and how heavy of a band should you be using?
Here's the rule for intensity and workload when it comes to activations. You do not want to fatigue or even come close to fatiguing when performing activations. Remember, The objective of these are to purely turn the muscle on, not take away from its ability to perform the actual workout that you're activating it for. You need to select a resistance band that has enough resistance present so you feel your muscle contracting against the tension. That's it though, not fatiguing, not performing a working set. So if you have a scale of 1 to 10 as a measure of intensity, 1 being feeling nothing, 10 being absolute contractile failure, I had a gun to your head and you still couldn't perform another rep, your resistance band should be generating an intensity of approximately 3. The number of reps you perform will really depend on your own mind-muscle connection experience already. If you're experienced and quite in tune with your body already, and it's a particular strong muscle group for you, well developed already, you're likely only gonna need a few reps to have it primed and turned on. Now, if you're not, and the muscle group is a weaker, lagging muscle group, you're gonna need to spend more time before you start to feel the muscle activated and turned on. General rule, look to perform 12 to 14 reps across 2 to 3 sets.
All right, so the second most popular muscle group that you guys said you were struggling to develop or feel working was your lats. Let's have a look at how to activate them. So in turn, all your lat exercises are paying off for you.
Okay, so the lats shortened position is where your arm is pulled behind you with a small rotation around your back. So we need to place load and tension in this shortened position. Lock a resistance band off approximately neck height. Straight arm with an approximate 10-degree lock at the elbow. Pull your arm down and once passing just behind you, rotate your straight arm, picturing trying to pull your elbow to the opposite hip. Hold in the end position for 1 to 2 beats. This will have your lat fully shortened with the most tension generated in that required shortened end position. Okay, heads up. Key mistake people tend to make on this one is when they're trying to do that final small rotation around, they end up pulling their shoulder up. Don't. This will have your traps engaged. Keep your traps out of the activation as much as possible by instead picturing pulling that elbow down and around towards your opposite hip, even slightly dropping your shoulder to help ensure trap elevation isn't occurring.
And the third most requested muscle group that you guys have asked for was hamstrings.
So when it comes to hamstrings, there's 2 ways you're going to need to turn them on. The hamstrings have 2 functions, pulling your heel up towards your glutes through knee flexion and pulling your hips forward through hip extension. So depending on the majority of the workload you have lined up in your hamstring workout, that will govern which activation you should give most attention to. So I'll show you both. First, knee flexion function. Tie a resistance band off to a low point. Secure the band around your ankle and lay face down. Ensure you're high on your elbows because when you contract your hamstring, pulling your heel up towards your glute, the upright torso position will help you achieve a tighter end contraction. Also, to further help achieve that fully shortened position, drive your hips down into the ground as you curl your leg up. Alright, so priming the hamstring through its hip extension function, which is ideal to use to get the most out of exercises like your RDLs. You need to lock off the band approximately waist height. Wrap the band around your waist. Place the balls of your feet on some form of elevation. A level of tension needs to be present already when you're in that bent over position, generating the most tension as you drive the hips forward. Hold the end position for 1 to 2 beats. The common mistake here is too much glute involvement and the glutes taking away from the activation stimulus in that end position. That's what that plate is for. Having your toes on the plate helps encourage a straighter leg. Maintaining a near straight leg throughout the movement will favor the hamstrings to perform the contraction. The more bent your knees, the more your glutes are likely to kick in and take over.
So that's it. A quick but detailed rundown of some of the more commonly requested muscle groups and how to effectively activate and engage them for maximum hypertrophy stimulus. Remember guys, we value your questions and feedback very highly as it gives us ideas on making highly impactful and helpful videos. So don't forget to click subscribe. Hit the like button if you liked the video. and turn on notifications so you can get the most out of your next workout session.